Bonjour,
Hello.
Francois. Nice to see
Hello.
you again. Hello.
Hello.
This morning I want to talk about luxury. We're going to talk about the luxury goods sector as a whole in a little bit, but let's first talk about the individual stocks, and there's some earnings results coming up, and one that's just come out, in fact. Before we go into there, can I ask you if you are invested in any of the stocks we're going to talk about?
Yes, I am.
Would you say are you overweight in the luxury goods sector as a whole in your portfolio?
Yes, because I like luxury stocks and because I had those positions for quite a long period of time. I invested for many, many years.
Well, the gods have been very good to you, especially Hermes.
Exactly.
So, just incidentally, this is really by the by, but what is your philosophy on rebalancing? When you have a sector like that that you like and continues to outperform the rest of your portfolio, may not have done, but do you rebalance or do you just run with it?
It depends. Sometimes I rebalance, but it's not something I'm going to do on a weekly or monthly basis. Usually, I used to own, for example, I used to own Kering. Kering is a stock that I purchased because I know a little bit of Kering. I knew that at one point the development on the group was such that I decided that I didn't want to own this stock anymore. And I have I would say, position that I hold for a very, very long time because I believe in certain models, and I consider that there is no reason to adjust significantly, except, for example, when you had such development on some stock last year, which were pushing higher very, very significantly, and I thought that the valuation was not justified, so I decided to reduce some of my positions.
All right. So, coming to Kering now, you just mentioned it. What's your analysis of your results? They've just been announced. What are they? What do you think?
I think market reaction tells everything. The numbers are less bad than expected. Everybody knows that there is a restructuring in terms of Kering's strategy, not so much in terms of divestment or those kind of things, but we all know that they depend a lot on Gucci. Gucci is facing some trouble in terms of sales and in terms of, I would say, not affordability, but nevertheless, the fact that people want to own Gucci products, it's something that happened. They changed the artistical guy a few years ago, a year and a half ago. They are in the process of doing something at Gucci, repositioning the brand. So they tell you that they believe that the strategy is going to work, but people need not to expect too much because this process will take time. And so I would say the numbers were less bad than expected, but it's still a turnaround situation that needs to materialize in the coming quarters.
Is this an opportunity for somebody who wants to jump into Kering? And second part of that question, would you say that Kering is too concentrated in its risk?
Very good point. I think that when you look at luxury stocks, you have different models. You have a very well diversified model. This is the model of luxury business, which is Louis Vuitton. Louis Vuitton, over the course of the last 40 years, has developed a significant diversification, not only in terms of brands, but in terms of products, because they are in leather goods, they are in watches, they are in cosmetics, they are in perfume. So this is a very diversified model. Then you have model like Kering, which came late in the fight to create a luxury group. So it's more concentrated, depending, as you said, on Gucci, but you have other brands like Bottega Veneta. You also have Yves Saint Laurent. They have some very good pepite in their portfolio, but they are more dependent on the cycle and the desire of people to purchase some of the product. And then you have other groups. You have Hermès, which is quote unquote the standard in terms of luxury good. The company is quoted, and then you have a group like Chanel, but Chanel is private, so you cannot invest in Chanel. So Kering, it depends what you want. It's more something if you want to bet on the ability of the turnaround of Gucci. And for example, the fact that they decided last year to purchase a participation in Valentino and developing this brand in the course of the next few years, then maybe it's something that you can play for short to medium term. Other stocks, it's a different matter to my point of view.
Would you say there's a stark contrast between the results announced this morning by Kering and LVMH last week?
Yes, I would say so. But it's related to the difference in terms of diversification. And as I said, on the fact that Kering depends a lot on Gucci. Really, the numbers of Louis Vuitton were very, very good. And because if you remember, by the fall of last year, Louis Vuitton said clearly they were seeing some slowdown in growth and etc. And then they came out with numbers that surprised a little bit the market because the strengths of the company are not under pressure as people had expected when they came out early fall with this warning in terms of the growth is slowing.
Hermes tomorrow. What are your comments on that? What are you expecting, if anything?
You know, Hermes is the company that surprises you always on the upside. Usually, you know, the business model of Hermes is a very interesting model. In a way, they manage scarcity. You know, their flagship product is very well known. They are leather bags, and every quote unquote every woman would like to have a Birkin or a Kelly. So they have the ability to manage scarcity, and usually they surprise you on the upside. Usually could happen again tomorrow, and they could surprise again because. But I don't know. I expect that they are going at least to deliver the results that they were guiding, and maybe that they will surprise on the upside.
For somebody who's not invested in luxury in the luxury sector, like me, for instance, it's a very unusual sector because it's very concentrated. There's not many players. Um, would you be somebody going into this sector now? Would you recommend that I start looking at it? And if I'm not happy about the concentration of risk, how can I diversify that? How are there some stocks that you can buy that's slightly off the radar that can help to diversify?
Alors, first of all, luxury stocks are quite expensive. They are quite expensive, and because they had a run that is absolutely amazing in the course of even 10 years, you can say that in the course of the last 10 years. So they are not cheap. This is not something that you buy for value. You buy them for the ability to grow. So I think that it depends on what are your forecasts and if you believe that the luxury sector is able to continue to grow. We know that the luxury sector is facing some headwinds, like the fact that China it's coming under pressure, that the consumer in China is no more consuming as much, or maybe they are not consuming as much as was expected in the long term because of the current economic condition in China. So they need to find a new kind of markets. If you look at the way luxury really went on in the course of the last 10 years, it was through the fact that there was a new market that came, which was China. So the big question that you need to ask is, what is the next market opportunity for a sector that is already well implemented in the US, in Europe, in Japan, in China? Is India maybe a possibility? That's a big question for the medium to long term. So it depends on growth. You need to have some view on growth and the ability for those products to appeal to a new kind of clientele. That's the first thing. Diversification. If you want, do you have companies that are still attractive or are still in the luxury sectors that could be a kind of purchase for making a bet? You have very few companies that remain on the market for the time being. You have a few one that are working quite well, Brunello Cucinelli, for example, which is providing, but it's quite expensive. There is one company that could be interesting. It's Ferragamo. Ferragamo is a company that is facing issues because of the size, because it was late in developing the worldwide brand, and but there is some opportunity there, maybe in Ferragamo, because the stocks is far less expensive than other if you believe that they are going to be able to really support growth for the medium term with a new strategy that is currently underway.
Are there any ETFs that expose yourself to
Yes, I
luxury?
think Yeah, you have some ETF that allows you to go. You have some funds that allow you, and then there is one thing because you mentioned earlier, mentioned L'Oréal. You have also for people, L'Oréal is going not to be cheap either, but it's a way to play. I would say semi-luxury because in cosmetics you have interesting products for the medium term. It's affordable. Those are products you have in the US a company that is currently under significant restructuring. It's Estée Lauder. You know that Estée Lauder is very famous for cosmetic products, but also they purchased last year Tom Ford, which was one of the brand in the last 10 years, and they are purchasing the comment clothes division, and maybe Estée Lauder, which disappointed significantly last year, went down quite a lot in terms of stock prices because the expectations were too high. Lately, they came with for the first time with some positive result, announcing that they are going to reduce costs. The market liked it, but it's maybe only the beginning of a turnaround on Estée Lauder.
The global picture on luxury goods sector for the coming year. How do you see that? Obviously, we can talk about China. What else can we look to when we're trying to
I
see
think
how it will react?
I would say that at the end of the day, India is going to be a key part of the luxury in the medium to long term. India is going through significant growth. But the key question is, are Indian people already at a level of purchasing power that is enough for them to be interested to luxury goods? So that's in terms of growth and in terms of where you can see the future of luxury sector. This is an important question. And then you have the issue of products. We all know that some products are very come on, like, how could I say, the company, the luxury business is making a lot of money out of it. Sneakers is something that is very obvious. Look at the price you pay for sneakers, collaboration with different brands. It has produced significant. Is this market going to grow, to continue? Are people going to accept for a very long time to purchase the sneakers at price like 900 or 1,000 Swiss franc for a pair of sneakers? That's a very important question. You also have because in luxury you also have jewelry and watches. This is a segment of the luxury business. Watches is a little bit under pressure, but the jewels not. You have very good results lately by jewelers, and they are great jewelers that are part of the group we mentioned before. You can mention Bulgari, who is owned by Louis Vuitton. So it depends on the product. It depends where those companies are going to find new market in terms of consumer. So, and then there is the price, because don't forget that luxury goods is something that is very interesting. They have been able to increase prices quite a lot in the inflationary period. And this is something and that's interesting, is despite the fact that they have increased price quite significantly, sometimes in the tunes of, when they announce them, of 8-9%, people are still buying, so they need to keep their current clientele and make sure that those people keep going to the shops.
Francois, that's great. I think that's all we got time for today. But thank you very much, and I hope to see you on Monday.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.